Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dear students. Welcome back to English session. In our previous session, we were discussing about Unit 6 Babar Ali, which was the influential story about a hero, a chain maker called Babar Ali. And in this session, we are gonna talk about Unit 7, If I Was a Tree, which is a poem. So which has been written by a famous Dalit writer called Mudnagudu Chinnaswamy. And today we are going to tackle the background or the framework to the poem If I Was a Tree. So the framework leads us to subaltern studies. So many of you may don't know what the term subaltern means or refer to. So let's get started with understanding the framework through which we are going to study our poem If I Was a Tree by Mudnagudu Chinnaswamy. So make sure this poem has been written in Kannada language. As a writer, as the poet of this poem is a Karnataka based poet and used to write in Kannada and which has been translated later. So this Kannada poem has been translated to English. Okay, so before tackling a poem directly, I would like you to introduce to a framework called subaltern studies. So probably you don't know the term subaltern. So this particular term subaltern has been took from a military term. So the term subaltern is a military term where it refers to of a military term which refers to an officer in army below the rank of a captain. So it refers to an officer below the rank of a captain. In other words, we may say that an army officer who secures lowest position in army. So who secures a lowest position in army is known as subaltern. So in army or in military, the person who secures the lowest grade among others is known as subaltern. So this particular term subaltern has been taken by literaturalists and has been used to denote certain group of people and to talk about certain group of people who are subaltern in our society. So let's get started. Before moving to the people who have been regarded as subaltern, so I would like you to introduce to the term subaltern studies now. So subaltern, the term only subaltern is a term which has been denoted to refer to a soldier who secured the lowest position in army. But this particular term of a military has been used by literaturalists to denote some people. So let's see. So when the word subaltern has been used in literature. So we all know that in English literature or in any literature we have different streams, isn't it? Different forms of writing. Like if I talk about English forms of writing, we have poem, we have fictional stories, we have novels, we have short stories, we have many things, sonnet, essays, etc. But the forms of literature depict some kind of a study, isn't it? Like in English language or in any language, we have women's study, we have black study, we have Dalit study, we have children's study, isn't it? So like child psychology, isn't it? Like that, we have different forms of study which study a different group of or a particular group of people. So in this subaltern study, which has been taken from military term called subaltern and it has been used in literature and it is denoted as subaltern studies. So subaltern studies includes three categories of people. Okay, so I have already told you the term subaltern is actually of a military term which used to denote to a soldier who secures the lowest position or status in army. So that particular term has been used by educationalists or literaturalists and it has been made as subaltern studies. So the term subaltern itself denotes that it talks about the lower people who secure lower grade or who have lower status, isn't it? So of lower status status. So this term talks about people having a secured lower status. Of a lower status, of a consistently lower status. So this term has been utilized by many educationalists or literaturalists to denote certain people, certain group of people. So in subaltern studies, what people or what group of people we are gonna study, this makes it important, right? Okay, let's get started. So now we are talking about subaltern studies. So subaltern studies, ivaga subaltern studies ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಓದುತ್ತೆ, isn't it? Are about whom it talks about. Okay, so the term subaltern studies denotes or talks about three categories of people. Our category of people particularly, before speaking about them particularly, I would like to tell you that as a whole, subaltern studies talks about people who have been denied the basic rights or who have been oppressed by the societal norms or societal strategies or the so-called baggages. So in our society, generally, I and you have a lot of baggages with us, right? So like we have the concept of racism, we have the concept of patriarchal and matriarchal, and we have the concept of upper caste, lower caste, we have the concept of rich and poor, we have plenty of concepts which has been there in a human society which are full of baggages, full of prejudice, full of biases, isn't it? Look, God has created this whole universe, isn't it? Without any difference, without any baggages, without any prejudice, but we human being social animals, we have created our world with lot of baggages. But in nature, we don't have such baggages, isn't it? We don't have any bifurcations, we don't have any discrimination, isn't it? We don't have anything there. Nature treats each and everyone equally, isn't it? Nature treats each and everyone equal. But unfortunately, we human beings have lot of baggages around us, and it led us to different discriminations. So at the initial stage, if I talk about the era of Adam and Eve, there were only two people who entered this world, isn't it? Adam and Eve, according to Christian culture as well as according to Islamic culture, they are our parents, isn't it? They didn't have these baggages for themselves or for the society. They were the origin of human society in this earth, on this earth. So as soon human proceed or as soon the population grew and we have plenty of human beings here, we wanted to make ourselves superior by creating others or by creating inferiors. If I want to tell you, if you want any example, in our first chapter, The Gentleman of the Jungle, we got to know how British people or European people started ruling over Asia and other eastern countries, isn't it? First of all, ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ರೂಲ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. Actually, they came here politely by seeking trade and commerce, isn't it? In the name of trade. Later, they created a knowledge that all these Eastern society people are so-called Orient people. They consider themselves as Occident, isn't it? And the Orient people, here Orient people refers to, make it sure, Occident refers to all the Western countries including European countries, okay, so it includes European countries. And Orient refers to all the Eastern countries including Africa, Asian continent and other eastern parts of society, eastern parts of our earth. So the Occident, first of all, produced a knowledge regarding Orient and utilizing it. What was the knowledge? It was that all the Orient people, including Asian countries and African countries, these people are barbaric, these people are illiterate, these people are so-called indisciplined, they are something like Kadu Nodishan, isn't it? So then they are not civilized. So they measured all of us, all the Eastern societies in their scale of development, and they consider all the Orient uncivilized, uneducated and barbaric. So what they did, if I wanted to make myself superior, I have to create somebody inferior, right? This is what they did, isn't it? They said all the Eastern societies are so and so, they are not developed, they are not civilized. So and we Occident people will take that burden and we will try to change you guys. This is what happened in the first chapter, the Gentlemen of the Jungle, right? So this is how exactly happened in our society when it comes to subaltern studies, isn't it? After colonial era, people started realizing that how the entire society had been differentiated among itself, or have been created different groups among itself. So let us talk about the three groups which has been created by society as subaltern. So here there were some people who wanted to make themselves superior, who wanted to make themselves more knowledgeable, who wanted to make themselves more powerful. That's why they actually created others. They created others. Make sure here the term others doesn't begin with a small letter O. It begins with this one. Others. So this merely represents not belong to my community or my position or my power. So others, they doesn't belong to us, isn't it? Others, they created others. So in our societal norms, according to West and East strategies, blacks were created. So all the aristocratic white people, when they first of all, the concept of black or the concept of beauty and ugly has been created by Western people, isn't it? So it's a colonized idea. So we here, being students of literature, we need to decolonize our mind, isn't it? We need to decolonize our mind first with these clumsy ideas, isn't it? With these clumsy ideas, with these illogical thoughts. So the Western people, especially the aristocratic white people, created the concept of blacks, or black, or Negroes. Now calling it black Negro is offensive, so it's better if we go with the term blacks. So look, even though in India we have British people, or we have fair people, but still we doesn't belong to the aristocratic white people of European countries. That's why even though if I am fair, they will call me black only. It's because I doesn't belong to their culture. I doesn't belong to any aristocratic European family. That's why if I am fair, even though I would be called as black, isn't it? So this is just an example. Okay. So Europeans created the concept of black. So if you are aware of the story which has been mentioned in a famous novel, so story ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, once upon a time what happened, all the a particular European country people wanted to invent India, because India was famous for its spices and gold and silver and other things. We all know India was a rich country before before European entered or arrived to our native, isn't it, our land. So India was a rich country, rich with spices, rich with gold and diamond, isn't it? So they wanted to find sea route to India. So when they wanted to find out, they wanted to navigate and they wanted to find or identify new lands all over the globe. So they traveled to a distant place from their particular city and they reached West Indies. They thought that the country was India, and when they investigated, when they searched, when they conducted research, they got to know that they are searching India, but unfortunately they haven't reached India yet. So that's why they named the country West Indies. Okay, and later another time they wanted to find other land on the earth, because then nobody knows where there is a land, where there is a sea, where human beings exist and all these things. So ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾನ ರೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಈ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್, ದೇ ವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಶಾಕ್ಡ್, ದೇ ವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಡ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವೆಂಟ್ saw such a black person in their life. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, I would like you to elaborate this particular story in Kannada itself, which is more comfortable. So ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ನ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So what happens? So they landed on Africa, and we all know Africans are more black, isn't it? They are dark people. So they are more dark people. So when for the first time when they saw African people, they were frightened and they got confused whether they are human beings or whether they are beasts, whether they are devils, isn't it? Or smokeless beings. So they were scared, and finally the concept of black and the concept of white originated, isn't it? And in the West and East societies, these blacks have been treated very ill, isn't it? So especially we know the concept of slavery, isn't it? That's an epoch rather. So in Western society, blacks has to be considered as subaltern. So in European countries ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ತುಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಗಾಗಿರೋರು ಅಥವಾ oppressed people ಅಂದ್ರೆ blacks, isn't it? So ಅವರನ್ನ Negroes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. They have been made as a slave to aristocratic white people, or European people. So they have been treated very badly. They have been treated ill. That's why ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬರೆಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that has been included in subaltern studies, isn't it? Subaltern studies. So blacks ಮೇಲೆ ತುಂಬ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಯಿತು, ತುಂಬ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ they have not been treated even as human being, right? So they have been treated as a slave, and slaves doesn't have any rights. So this was the concept of aristocratic Europeans, isn't it? So they are blacks, they should serve them, and these blacks, only because of the skin color which is darker, they have to accept that they have to serve whites, isn't it? White people. And this strategy or this superior and inferior concept originated, isn't it? So blacks have been considered as subaltern people only because their pain is unseen, their voice is unheard, and they have been treated very bad and they are oppressed. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೊಡೆದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಳುಗಾಗಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, isn't it? They have been gone through lot of pain, zulm, isn't it? Zulm. So that's why these people, and talking about these people, has been considered to be a subaltern studies. And we all know, so the first group of people who comes under subaltern study or subaltern are blacks, isn't it? So the first category of people come under subaltern are blacks. Yakandre they are the first people who suffered a lot in our society, who had been gone through lot of pain, who have been gone through lot of humiliation, who have been gone through lot of oppression rather, isn't it? Oppression. So oppression andre under somebody's control, isn't it? Under somebody's control, who initially wanted to control them and take over them. So blacks have been considered to be subaltern. This is the first category of subaltern people. Later, in this patriarchal society, make sure you are not going to confuse with these two similar looking terms, patriarchal and patriotism, isn't it? So the term patriotism refers to love for our nation, isn't it? The term patriotism refers to love for our nation, andre desha bhakti, adana denote madlikke we use the term patriotism. But contrary to that, patriarchal refers to male dominated society. Patriarchal refers to male dominated society, andre pitru pradhana samaja, where man has all the authority to control, to modify, to do everything, but women doesn't have any rights. So entire globe or entire world is actually patriarchal society where man has every power and women has no power, rather, isn't it? So second citizen tara, isn't it? So first citizen yaru, man, he has every power, but the second the least powerful the second citizen is considered to be women. So in this patriarchal society, women comes under subaltern because man has every power, isn't it? Man is the person who takes decision. It is man who takes decision. It is man who makes decision. It is man who decides what to do, what not to do, isn't it? So in this patriarchal society, women is also considered to be subaltern, andre who secures lowest position comparative to man. That's why women is also subaltern. Okay, and if I talk about Indian society, isn't it, in India, we have a hierarchical system, we have a caste system where people of Hindu culture have been divided into 4 groups: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. And the last category, Shudras, are also known as Dalits or untouchables, isn't it? Dalits are untouchables. So in Indian society, the least respected people are the people who are securing lower status are none other than Dalits. That's why even Dalits has to be considered as subaltern people, isn't it? Whose voice is unheard, whose pain is unseen, they are voiceless, isn't it? They are voiceless. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರ ನೋವನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಅವರ ದುಃಖನ ಆ ಗೋರಿನ ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಂಡ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಬರಲಿ, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಯಾರೂ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡೋರೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಂಡ್ರನ್ನ, ಅಥವಾ ವೈಟ್ಸ್ನ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡೋರಿದ್ದಾರ? ನೋ, ರಾದರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಒಪ್ರೆಸರ್ ಟು ಒಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್. That's why these 3 categories of people have been regarded as subaltern, and in subaltern studies we study, we write, we talk about all these 3 categories of people, their pain, their sufferings, their voice, and make sure when we talk about literature, literature is a beautiful tool to express what we cannot say directly, isn't it? So literature irbodu, literature alli we have different genres, isn't it? So genres yavyavadu andre poetry, prose, fictional stories, short stories, long term stories, novels, drama, play and drama both the same. So ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು, ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಈ 3 ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿಯ ಪೇನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವರ ಸಫರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಅವರ ಅಗೋನಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್. It is known as subaltern studies. So, do we have in our society called men study? No. Do we have white study? No. Do we have Brahmandra studies? No. We study or we work only on the people who are oppressed, isn't it? ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಗತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪವರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, isn't it? But who are powerless, who are voiceless, who are suffering pain and agony, we used to talk about them, isn't it? So ನಮ್ಮ society ಅಥವಾ our literature used to study who are voiceless, who are already suffering a lot, who are oppressed, isn't it? Who doesn't have any voice, we study them. And in this subaltern studies, we are gonna study these 3 categories of people, which includes blacks, women and Dalits, isn't it? So in ಈ 3 ಜನರ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿನ ಯಾಕೆ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಪೇನ್, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಸಫರಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಒಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ನ ಒಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಯಾರು? ವೈಟ್, isn't it? So do we study white? Do you have white studies in literature? No, we don't have, because they are oppressor and who has been oppressing blacks. So we study the people who are oppressed. Women, men studies, India? No, because they are holding power, and women is always considered to be fickle-minded, to be unfit to judge, to unfit to do things. So we study women. And ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಂಡನ ಓದ್ತೀವ, ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯನ ಓದ್ತೀವ, ವೈಶ್ಯಾಸ್ನ ಓದ್ತೀವ? ನೋ, ವಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ದಲಿಟ್ಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ they are under pain. They are suffering a lot. They are the people whose voice is unheard, whose pain is unseen, whose things have been discussed a lot, because ಅವರು ತುಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಗಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂಥ ಜನರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೀಸ್ ನಾವು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ನ, ಆ ನಾಲೆಜ್ನ ಸಬಾಲ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. I hope you got this clearly. So subaltern studies talks about these three category of people, which includes blacks, women and Dalits, and their pain, their sufferings have been projected in subaltern studies. So our pain, our suffering, our voice agi namma subaltern studies ide. So I hope you got this idea of subaltern studies. By next session we will be discussing Dalit studies and the bomb. Thank you so much. If you are having any doubts regarding subaltern studies, just Google it and read it thoroughly and come up with your doubts. Thank you so much, and may Allah make our learning easy. So this particular text, If I Was a Tree, is a subaltern studies. We will be reading it further. Thank you so much.